Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Azeroth Daily for the 7th of Feb 2011. My name is TotalBiscuit, bringing you your daily dose of WoW news and comment. In the headlines today, Blizzcon 2011 has been announced as if there was any doubt it was going to happen, although this is admittedly a little earlier than they usually tell us about it. It's going to be happening on October the 21st through to October the 22nd, back in Anaheim Convention Center in Anaheim, California, of course, in the United States. And there will, as far as we're aware, once again, be no European equivalent of it. No other information available at this time, other than I think we know for a fact that the tickets are going to sell out incredibly fast. I can only imagine they're announcing it this early, one, to build up hype, and two, to perhaps give the Europeans and those traveling from other parts of the world a greater leeway to book holidays and plane flights and things like that. But, bearing in mind that the tickets usually sell out in about 2 minutes flat, and we've heard stories of people booking trips and then not being able to get tickets, it's a little bit of a long shot on that one. The Love is in the Air event has kicked off once again, started this Sunday in fact. However, a lot of players are reporting that there are a number of issues, including uncompletable quests, and quests that refer to NPCs that are now dead. As a result, it's recommended that you hold off on doing anything with this until the patch, which is supposed to be tomorrow, according to MMO Champion. Yes, 4.0.6 should be on the servers tomorrow, over on the US, and of course on Wednesday in the EU. The latest round of European community news is out, including information from Battlecraft.it, the Italian site, posting part 3 of its troll lore piece, very important folks, and also the Hungarian site WoW Hungary's posted a nice lore article on Bane Bloodhoof, and you can also check out Polish site Battlenet.pl for details of a prize draw being run by GoToArena.pl, where players can win a Frostmourne sword, amongst other WoW goodies. All this, your roundup of this week's comics, and worthwhile forum threads in the description below this video. And with that, it's time for your Daily Blues. This rather large locked thread comes from Renoir, who asks, why are you guys mad about luck of the draw? And comes out with a bunch of logical fallacies that I could tear apart right now, but I'm not going to because I simply don't have the time. No doubt I will do it on this week's Blue Please. Whatever the case, Bashiok responds with something that makes absolutely no sense at all. And usually Bashiok's very good at this. I think he's channeling Fangtooth, and I think only the old school players will really understand what I'm referencing there. But the only really worthwhile thing that actually comes out of this post, other than a bunch of nonsense that doesn't make any sense, is the idea that some of the guys who are saying, oh, I'll only run with guildies, might go into the Dungeon Finder queue now. Right, well, wasn't the point of Cataclysm to encourage guild play, and now you're saying guild play is bad, because suddenly people actually are rolling with guilds as the game was initially and should continue to be, and suddenly you find there's a lack of good tanks out there. Shock freaking horror, isn't it? It's so ridiculous when you think about it, really. Oh, go into a guild, it'll be great. Here's all these benefits. Oh god, all of the tanks are gone. Come out of the guild, come out of the guild. Stop raiding with your guildies, stop grouping with your guildies. Go get in the pug queues. Oh, please. Make your bloody mind up. As far as I'm concerned, the pugs should just languish and die. If they can't figure out how to get into a guild, that's their own sodding problem. Do I sound bitter? That's because I'm bitter. Of course I'm goddamn bitter. They've decided to nerf the heroics again, just because, oh, pugs can't handle it. We'll make it easier. But it's okay, because the guildies don't get the face roll version. Doesn't matter. You're still making players worse. And that's the problem. We saw it in Wrath, and now we're seeing it again, and it's so incredibly disappointing. Nethera comes in with this incredibly long post in response to a set of questions by a member of the community as to what exactly CMs actually do. It would take ages for me to display all the pages on the screen, so might I recommend using the pause button if you want to read it, or you can read the entire post in the description below this video. Nonetheless, it's nice to see the CMs opening up about their role in the actual community. Gerald, once again on this, which is blatantly the hot topic of the month right now regarding changing heroics, and Zarhym further attempts to clarify exactly what's been going on there. He points out that there were some nerfs, but also some buffs. Indeed, I believe we counted them. There were about 4 times as many nerfs as there were actual buffs, and the nerfs were significantly potent. And I think that's the most important thing to bear in mind. Well, you know, we took this entire ability off the boss, which effectively trivializes the fight, and of course I'm referring to Baron Ashbury, but it's okay because we gave this guy 500 more HP. No, it is not, but at least the community managers are actually trying to explain this away, although still, I don't think they really get the real problem that this is actually going to be causing. Whatever the case, it's now time for your daily grind. We continue trying to find the lost companions of that Worgen salesman in the middle of the Eastern Plaguelands, getting aboard the wagon, and the quest here is not remotely interesting, other than the fact that you collect Plaguehound blood as a gift for the Worgen. I don't even want to know. What is most interesting is what happens at the end of this, where you get access to 3 unique buffs, just kind of like the Darkshore buffs that we saw in the Worgen leveling videos, that you can use in order to go through the zone with. I think that's a really neat feature, and of course you'll get to ride the cart a little bit later on. And with that, it's time for your weekly feature. This is Machinimonday. This one came out in the middle of last month by Fade to October, and it's called Final Fantasy Escape from Azeroth. It's an intriguing concept with a sort of mix of Final Fantasy battle scenes and themes with, of course, World of Warcraft. It's not a terrible machinima, really. It's pretty good. It's very inconsistent. I mean, there are times when, like, the use of effects and the actual shots are really, really great, and there are times when the animation is blatantly stilted. A real weakness would be the voice acting, particularly the main character sounds absolutely awful, I've got to say. But the idea is solid. I'm hoping that perhaps they can go forward with it and make it just a little bit more polished. I do like the idea of the Final Fantasy battle scene. That's pretty cool, as well as the fact that some of the characters speak in different kinds of speech bubbles. So there's sufficient originality there, but it is very rough around the edges. On that basis, I will give it 2 trolls out of 5. You can watch the full 6.5-minute video in the description below this video. And with that, it's time for the mailbox. This one comes in from Boris, who says, I've recently noticed that a lot of people are complaining about Cataclysm, saying that it's boring, grindy, it has crappy lore, moaning about dungeon difficulty for the sake of moaning and calling it outright bad. Now, this wouldn't bother me if it wasn't for the fact that people were saying that Wrath, yes, Wrath, was the better expansion. This left me dumbfounded every time it showed up. I've seen people complaining about Cataclysm show up mostly in the MMO Champion forums, because every once in a while a thread always pops up saying some random anecdote about how the original poster started in vanilla, loved TBC, may or may not have loved Wrath, and then how they state Cataclysm is boring and so forth. Now, I would usually conclude that the original poster is just whining. However, the first and second reply are always, I agree, Wrath was better, Cataclysm sucks. Personally, I love Cataclysm, and I don't find it boring. While I agree it has some bad stuff in it, there's no such thing as perfect. What are your thoughts on this? Right, and if anyone actually thinks that Wrath of the Lich King was a better expansion than Cataclysm, then they are actually insane. I have no real explanation beyond that. It's just ridiculous to say that, but bear in mind that every single time an expansion comes out, this always happens within, like, the first 6 months. They'll always say, oh, this was better, the previous expansion, or vanilla, was better. It happens every Sonic time. Now, Cataclysm is a really great expansion. I can understand why people would find it boring. I mean, say people who have been playing since vanilla, yes, they might find it boring now because it is more of the same that they have now been playing for 6 years and may indeed get to the point where people don't want to play it anymore. I'm actually suffering the same problem. I am not enthused by Cataclysm all that much because I've played so much WoW over the past 6 years, and I've seen pretty much everything WoW has to offer, and Cataclysm does not offer me any innovations of any description, which is why I'm just barely playing right now. And I'm hoping I can justify getting back into it at some point in the not too distant future, but right now I don't have any enthusiasm for it. It's not that it's a bad expansion, it's just that it's yet more WoW with no real innovative changes. That said, the content is blatantly better than Wrath. The questing content is vastly superior. The dungeon content, even with the nerfs, although they're trying to bring it all the way back down to Wrath's level by the looks of it, is better than Wrath. The raid content is better than Wrath. It's as simple as that. That's just, as far as I'm concerned, an objective fact. I don't know if anyone would actually disagree with me there, but I cannot see how anyone would think that Wrath's content was better, because it just wasn't. God, it's like people maybe joined half the way through Wrath. It's like, hey, look, free stuff. I really love this free stuff. Oh, Cataclysm, you gotta work for it. Hate it. Terrible. That's the only explanation I've got for it, because I played from the start through to the end of Wrath with many breaks just because I was so sick of the frickin' game, and I was glad to see it go. This one comes in from Travis, who says, Hey TB, I just wanted your thoughts on a subject. While I've been playing for quite some time, I recently started rolling and leveling alts because of Cataclysm. I've heard stories about people who use leveling guides, going 1 to 85 in so many days, and I was thinking about getting one myself. What are your thoughts on the matter? Do you believe that guides should be around, or do you think that the experience would be better off without them? Well, I don't think the experience would be better off without them, per se, and I don't think they should go away, because I don't believe, when it comes to solo content, in telling people how they should play it. Like, for instance, we're talking about leveling content right here. If you want to do Recruit a Friend, where you triple your experience, that is entirely up to you. If you want to grind in AoE mobs all the way up, if you want to just PvP all the way up, if you want to dungeon queue all the way up, if you want to do all of this other stuff, if you want to completely disregard the story, that is entirely up to you. It doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form, so that is your freedom. As regards to whether or not I would use a leveling guide, probably not, especially not on 1 to 60 right now. 1 to 60 is such a directed experience that in my opinion you're going to want to actually try and enjoy, because yes, it's really good now and it used to be really awful. I wouldn't use a leveling guide to skip any of that. I want to see everything it has to offer, particularly since a lot of zones are now crafted as a story arc that is genuinely engaging through a series of progressive quests all the way through to a finale, often with phasing involved in it. Do you really want to be skipping those quests just because it's more efficient to go elsewhere? I certainly hope not. I mean, would you really use a leveling guide on, say, Stone Talon, which has an absolutely wonderful set of quests? I know I wouldn't. I could be persuaded to use one for Outland, though, and maybe even Northrend, because they're both not so great. Whether or not they should be around, there's been a lot of controversy surrounding this. Blizzard seems to have this idea that they have copyright over everything that's even vaguely related to World of Warcraft in one way or the other, even originally created guides that are sometimes sold for money. I don't believe that they do, and indeed I don't think they could actually win that one in court. And whatever the case, as far as I'm concerned, yes, people should be able to create work based on WoW, as long as it doesn't interfere directly with the game. So writing a guide or something like that, and even then actually charging for it, yeah. But bear in mind that there are leveling guides that are free, so more to the point, why would you buy one? You know, I support people's freedom to create them and try to sell them. I just think it's ridiculous to even spend money on such a thing. But before I go, it's time to announce this week's Postcards from Azeroth contest. The theme for this week for your postcards that have to be left on the Facebook page, facebook.com/cynicalbrit, submit your screenshots there, is what do you actually miss from Northrend? I would like you to take a picture of something that was particularly awesome in Northrend, something that maybe you miss doing, or something that sticks in your mind as being a standout moment. Go and take a screenshot of that and submit it into facebook.com/cynicalbrit. Thanks a lot, guys. I will see you next time.